সবাইকে আন্তরিক শুভেচ্ছা. Greetings all. Firstly, we acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognize their continuing connection to land, waters, and culture. We pay our respects to the elders past, present, and emerging. Bangladesh Association in Brisbane Inc. (BAB) would like to cordially acknowledge the worthy contribution of Brisbane City Council, Queensland, for funding our social integration, culture, and identity maintenance of the Bangladeshi community in Brisbane program under the Community Development and Capacity Building Grant. In light of this grant, BAB put together a series of online learning and awareness tools to improve social cohesion, communication, and job readiness. On behalf of BAB, we would like to thank all the members of the community and project implementation team for their kind support and valuable contributions. Thank you all. ভালো থাকুন, সুস্থ থাকুন.
Good evening. Welcome to today's presentation. Our presentation is for the BAB Social Integration Program. The first episode was done by me on the topics of LinkedIn. Today's presentation is about interview skill. Our today's presentation will be organized by BAB and BAB Social Integration Program and BAB Social Integration Project team. Today's presentation would be based on interview skill topics, how you will do better in the interview, what would be the tips, and what should you do and what you should not do. We all know that every day we are thinking about what we can do better in the interview. Interview is a process. To know more about it, please stay tuned with us. And today's presenter is Dr. MD Zaman Islam. He is a medical oncologist, a senior staff specialist of Gold Coast University Hospital, a senior lecturer of Griffith University, president of Federation of Bangladesh Medical Societies of Australia. He is a known face in Bangladeshi community in Brisbane and in Gold Coast and overall in Queensland. He is the examiner of Royal College of Physicians and School of Medicine of Griffith University. Please welcome Dr. Zaman Islam.
Thank you, Hassan. Thank you very much. And thanks, BAB, to organize this sort of very important sessions or events. I think that this session should have been started a long time ago, but congratulations, BAB, to start this sort of social integration and skill development program. It is very important. So thank you very much, Hassan.
You're welcome. So should we start the presentation?
We can. Okay. So if you can start with my first slide.
Yeah, sure. Munir bhai, if you could please make me a host, then I can share the slide, please.
Yeah, sure. I'm just trying. You are host now.
Thank you.
Okay,
Zaman bhai, are you okay with the slide?
I'm okay with the slide, but if you can go to the full screen. I don't want that. Yeah, that's right. Yep. Okay, let's get started. This is a very important session. I hope this will be that will help for your startup for your career. Hassan has given me a very kind and good introduction about me. Having said that, one thing I must say, so that would be easy for you to understand why I'm here. I was employer and I was in interviewer seat for Queensland Health a few times. So I have a bit of experience about how the question comes and what should be the best answer. Apart from that, I attended this sort of workshop before. So I have a little bit of background knowledge about how to be prepared for the interview. Next slide. Now, before you, I mean, I know. If you're ready to find a job, you have completed your basic degree. Okay, that's the first important thing. Now, I'll ask or I'll highlight a few questions. If most of the answers are no, this video is not for you. If most of the answers are yes, this video is for you. And in fact, you are very close to find a job and ready to start with a job. Okay, so ask yourself, are you ready to find a suitable job for you? Number one. Number two, are you happy to go anywhere to find your desired position? Are you desperate to find a suitable job for you? Do you know what can you do and what you can't do? Do you believe yourself that you are a good candidate? Do you believe that your employer will be benefited by employing you? Do you believe you are better than others? Do you believe you are smart and presentable? As I said, if most of the answers are yes, you are plug in, you are firing, you are ready to get a job. Next slide. So let's talk about how to start. Definitely the starting is searching job. Most of the candidates, the initial mistake they do, they are very wide in searching job. There's no harm in it to go wide range of searching, but you really have to shortlist your target. If you are too all over the place, that won't work. So you have to be not pinpointed, but you have to target your list in a short list. Okay. If you find difficult to find a job, if you find it a bit difficult, you can certainly contact a recruiting agent. They're very good in it. They are, they can help you to find a job. So that is one option. As I said, make a short list and make sure that you really want to do this particular job. If you really don't want to, it is an absolute waste of time because you won't be doing a good interview. You won't be really ready. So find those jobs which are interesting for you, with which your knowledge and experiences are compatible. Okay, target those jobs and get ready to apply for this job. Make your CV and cover letter ready. It is a paramount important. Okay, so make those ready. Next slide, please. So let's talk a little bit about your CV and cover letter. As an employer, I tell you, for any particular advertised job, there will be millions of applications. I overinflated it. There will be hundreds of applications, okay? And an employer, they have to shortlist it. And the way to shortlist it is going through the cover letter and CV. And sometimes we or the employer, they don't even go up to the CV. They first look at the cover letter. If the cover letter is good, then they go to the CV. And if the CV is impressive, your first hurdle is done. You will be called, you will be shortlisted. Okay, so that's very important. And how to make a CV? I know you all know, but I give you a hint. Just take an example of a manufacturer. He's presenting his product to a person who is going to buy it, to purchase it. He's presenting his product to a purchaser. You just think about it. He will say everything, all possible good things about his product to sell it, to improve its value. And you are just selling your expertise and knowledge. You really need to present yourself in such a way that who is going to buy you, he will be impressed. Okay, so your CV will need to be really impressive. That will tell everything, all the good things about you, not inflated, but in such a way that it is very presentable and attractive. And your cover letter is really a summary of your CV. Okay, it's not an easy thing to do. It is a practice and it is a skill to write a cover letter. Okay, I would recommend for one-off, you can take help from professional person who are professionally skilled to write up CV and cover letter. It is one-off investment and it works. Believe me, it works. You want me to give an example? I did it. I did it for my first job interview. I did it to prepare my first CV. I did it. You do it. Worth it. Okay. So good cover letter, good CV will put you through to the short list, and then get ready for the interview. Next slide, please. Now prepare yourself for the interview. Okay. Again, ask yourself, do you really want the job? If yes, give your best hit. Okay. Now, before going to the interview, you have to do some homework. Certainly, you have to know what you're doing, your experience, your knowledge of your basic subject. But you have to do some investigation about the company or firm you applied job for. All right. When they build, how many employees they are working, how profit they are doing, okay, and what they sell or what they produce, what are the products, ins and out, okay. Do literature search, do Google search, talk to the people who are working there, talk to your friends, and find detailed information about it. If you can talk about their company, they will find you that interested, enthusiastic, and they will find your enthusiasm and interest about the job, and you will be in good position. Okay. They routinely asked question, why should we employ you? Why you are a good candidate? So you have to make yourself a better candidate. Okay. Remember, any minor bits and pieces, anything you have experience or quality should come in your CV. That will help. Perhaps that will make you a better candidate than others. Okay. So you have to go a little bit out of box. Out of your major or out of your basic degree. Next slide, Hassan. Now, what can you do? Say, for example, you are a mechanical engineer, okay, and you are applying for a job, say, for example, in city council. Now, there will be at least 200 applications. 200 mechanical engineer will be applying for the job. Okay, so how your boss or how the employer will make a short list, or even after short list, there will be probably 2 or 3 vacancies, and in 2 or 3 vacancies, there will be about at least 10 or 20 applicants who are absolutely equal, same standard. So how they gonna choose who is the best candidate. At that stage, they will go out of the box. Out of the box means, what are the extra skill you have? I give you some example of the extra skill. You have IT skill. Do you know how to do data entry? Do you have statistical skill? Do you have similar type of previous job experience? Do you involve in social work like BAB or so on? Do you have you done any leadership workshop? Have you done any communication skill workshop? Do you have publications? And so on, and so on, and so on. If you have any of those, put those in your CV. I give you a guarantee they will ask about it, because these are the things will make you different from other candidates. These are the experiences and skills will make you different and better from other candidates. Next slide, Hassan. So you made your CV, you are in the interview. Face the challenge. Show your employer that you have researched a lot about the position. You are enthusiastic. You have lots of interest to work with them. Okay. Now, after knowing detail about the position, you applied. Think about how can you improve the sector you are applying for. Okay. How I mean, this is a quick common question. How can you improve the service? You need to really think about it. Do homework. Do sort of literature search or Google search, that if that service is, say for example, production is that number of production, what else you can do to improve the production, improve the quality of the service. All those things you need to think about. Okay, how can you do that? I'll come a bit later about it. Okay, and another common question you need to be prepared about is, they will ask where you want to see yourself in next 5 to 10 years. Never answer this question in a way that I'll find another better area. I'll leave this job, probably in 10 years time, I'll go to a better company. All right, if, for example, you are a IT specialist, you're working in a small firm. In 10 years time, I want to join Google. Don't say that, okay? Your answer should be always, I'll step up within the company, I'll improve my skill, I'll gain more and more experience, and I will use my experience in this company to build up. Okay, if you say you leave this company, that's not a good answer. So whatever you say in 5 to 10 years within this company. Next slide. So are you presentable? Yes, you are. All right, you'll be presenting yourself in the best possible way. All right. Now, in the interview, never give a wrong information about yourself. Say in a nice way, best possible way, what you really are. Never say or never super inflate about yourself. You can be sure of it that the employer will investigate about you before offering you a job. Even they offer you a job, before you're joining, they'll investigate whether you are really the person you've been talking about. So never give any wrong information. You don't give any wrong information about your experience, expertise, skill, and knowledge. It is very, very important. Okay. Common question. If you went through the interview quite well, that about to, they will ask you that if this job is offered to you, when can you start? All right. This question is a very common question. This question doesn't mean that they are offering you a job, but it is a commonly asked question. Remember, answer should always be immediately. Regardless you can join immediately or not, in the interview, answer should be immediately. Remember, if you're offered a job, then starting time or joining time could be negotiated. It is always negotiable, all right? But in the interview, answer should be immediately. If they ask a question like, what is your expected salary? Don't be too generous. Don't say, no, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about salary. I mean, whatever you offer, this is my first job. I will start with. Never say that. Don't underestimate you. Don't underestimate you. Always you say, whatever the standard salary of this job that I would expect. Okay. Now, if you are expecting better salary than standard, you can negotiate it after getting the offer. In interview table, interview room, your answer should be whatever standard for this job. Next slide, please. Right. Communication skill. This is the most, commonly misunderstood term, the communication skill. But it is extremely important to understand. Communication skill is not just speaking in English, okay? How you walk to the interview room, how you've been sitting, how's your facial expression, how is your body language, have you dressed appropriately, did you maintain eye contact, everything, and certainly how you speak, everything is your communication skill. If you're nervous, that is detrimental. A person who is nervous in the interview room will never get a job, I give you a guarantee, unless there is no other applicant. If you have another option, he has less skill, less expertise, but not nervous, smart, good communication skill, he'll be offered the job. I'll give you a guarantee about it. So it is very important to have good communication skill overall. And if you have problem with it, if you think your communication skill is not good, you should seek professional skill. Okay? There are professional people who can make your skill better, communication skill better. Okay? You can attend to some workshop. I don't know whether any BAB organizes this sort of workshop or not, but certainly there are professional people. I have sent several my trainees before they are applying for the job to those people. They're really good. So if you have any problem, if you have confusion that you may not have good communication skill, go to those people. They will make you better. Next slide, please. Confidence. Oh, goodness me. It is so important. So important. You need to believe yourself. You need to believe that you are the best candidate. You need to believe that the employer will lose profusely if he doesn't give you the job. Okay, so you really need to believe yourself. Okay, make them understood by showing your confidence, your interest, your expertise, your knowledge. Okay, make them understood. Then definitely the outcome would be good. Okay. During the interview, if you get wrong to any question, or if you don't know the answer, don't get nervous. Okay? Don't lose your confidence. Make sure you will overcome with the next question. Make sure your next question would be, answer of the next question would be excellent, impressive, and the employer would be happy. So one question will not put you down entirely. All right, there are more questions to come. Now, if you don't know any answer, don't confidently say something wrong. Confidence is good, but overconfidence is not good. All right. If you don't know anything, the answer should be, as usual, it's a very good question. I should know. I should investigate it further. Don't know the answer right now, but I'll make sure that I know it. I'll do research and find the answer of it. All right. At least show your enthusiasm and interest. That works. I tell you, that works. Next slide. Referee. Goodness me, it is so important. As an employer, I tell you, it is so important. It is good to have a big name, like CEO of a company is your referee, dean of your faculty, vice chancellor of your university is your referee. That's good. That's impressive. But if those big name, if those big person, if they don't say good about it, that is a disaster. Absolute disaster. Even after an excellent interview, if your referee doesn't say good about you, you are done. All will go in astray. Okay, so find a good referee, but they have to say good about you. Make sure they know you and they will say good about you. The good referees are who you worked with, who supervised you. Okay, they are the referee the employers like to see, not your friend, not your relative. Okay, so the people who you worked with or they supervised you, these are the people who should be good in referee. And make sure you notify them before you interview and remind them that the checking is about to come. Okay, referee check is the last before the job offer, but not the least of a successful job application. Next slide. So a few tips. Look at the person. All right, smart, well-dressed, very positive, eye-to-eye contact. He's smiling. He's not nervous. You got to be like him. Next slide. Look at that. It is a wonderful, wonderful thing to do. Practice at home. All right. Okay. And I can, if you're interested, contact Job, and I can give you about 50 question, commonly asked question, and you can practice. You find the answer of this common question and practice it in front of your mirror. You could be your judge. All right. Think about you are the employer, and would you employ yourself? All right, and in front of camera or mirror, this practice is very good. It works. If you go to a communication skill, professional communication skill developer people, they will ask you to do that. So it is very important. Important practice. It works. Next slide. Now look at that. Look at that girl who doesn't know the answer and has fallen apart. Do you think that, I mean, hard-facing, difficult or cruel-facing employer sitting there with a tie and suit will employ this girl? Never. Never. Who even can answer a question and fall apart? Depression and nervousness is not good for a company. All right, so never be nervous. If you don't know the answer of a question, get ready for the next question where you will answer superbly. All right, next slide, please. All right, I hope this talk will help you and make you a smart, eligible, and excellent candidate, and you will be shaking hands with your employer in a smiling face very soon. All the best. Thank you, Hassan. And next slide, if you have any question.
Thanks, Dr. Zaman, for your nice presentation. It's really informative for our Bangladeshi community. The program is, again, I'm just reiterating, that is a BAP social integration program, and the team members are working, and BAB is working for it. So thanks once again. It's a really good and short um, presentation for all of the community members, and overall, if I say, it's to the point. There are some key items that I must mention here. Is about your referee, your summary in the CV and cover letter that Dr. Zaman Bhai already told, and also your confidence, and when you are shaking hands, how you are dealing with it, and overall, your uh, answer to the point, and if you don't know any questions answered, how you will deal it, and always ask nicely and answer nicely to the point, and never lose your confidence. So now I will ask a very common question that people face nowadays. Even I faced in my lots of interviews, and I answered from my perspective, but I would like to hear from Dr. Zaman, um, because he is in, as he said, he is in the interview panel in lots of time, and he's the examiner. So how he looks and how he expect answers from the candidates. So my question is, what is the present trend and practice going on in your area of practice, and what would be the future trend and practice in your area that you are looking for?
Excellent question. Excellent question. Okay, that is a very common question and routinely asked. Okay, so I can give you an example, but I'm a doctor, you know. I mean, so when I ask this question with a trainee doctor to get employed, I really want to know the depth of his knowledge of the common trend and what are the research going on at the moment that will give us more treatment, more medicine, more cure in future. So I really want to know whether that candidate has current knowledge how to treat a patient, and also has a knowledge how the treatment could be changed in future. Everything is evidence-based. What is true today may not be true in 2 years or 5 years or 10 years. But you are right today, you will be again right in 10 years' time. Okay, so all evidence-based, so that could be changed. But you can get a clue or signal that that could be changed in future because of new development, new research, new production. It could be changed. So you have to have knowledge of current situation, and you have to have a feelings what could happen in future. So you have to research about your particular subject and answer that question in that way.
Thank you, John Bhai. The next question is really a suggestion questions. I mean, suggestions from your end, from your expertise, and in general to all Bangladeshi professionals, especially people who come from Bangladesh in here, and then initially they have a bit of struggle in next 6 months to 1 year, sometimes in 2 years time. So the question is like, what would be your advice for Bangladeshi professionals who are still coming and who are already settled in but didn't find any suitable role? Even though the scenario is back in 2010, maybe 10 years ago, and now the scenario is 2020. So what would be your suggestion now on forward from 2020, that what Bangladeshi professionals should do once they arrive in here in Australia?
Right, right. Good question, really. Number one, I tell you, when I left my home about more than 25 years ago, I was initially landed in New Zealand, and I really didn't do any meaningful job for 2 years. I was doing some study, part-time job, and making myself ready to be a registered doctor in New Zealand. 2 to 3 years time I spent this. Okay, and in few years time I was ready because I did my registration exam and everything was ready, and then applied for a job. So I did my CV and I showed that CV to my referee. That, what do you think? This is my CV because this is my first job application. I never had job in New Zealand. So he was going through my CV and he found a big gap. Say, for example, in 1995 to 98, she asked me, I still can remember, she was a psychiatrist, Professor Sarah Romans. So Sarah asked me that, what did you do in 95 to 98? I said, oh goodness me, I hadn't had any presentable job that time. I did nurse aid. I did, I worked for KFC and pizza delivery and all those job. And he said, oh, I thought you've been in jail that time. This is why you didn't put it in CV. I said, no, goodness me, I was not in jail. I was working this odd job. Put those odd job in your CV. They will say that you've not been doing some criminal activity and not in jail. No job is no job is a bad job. Okay, when you are doing study and getting prepared for your career, you did this job, not a problem. If you are studying, you are a student in uni, full-time stuff, that you can put. But if you are not a full-time student and getting prepared and studying at home and doing some part-time job, you need to say that what you've been doing. So when you come from overseas and getting ready for your career, do something. Don't sit at home. Don't get frustrated. Do whatever you can. Develop your interviewing skill, develop your communication skill, attend workshop, this sort of thing. I believe BAB is organizing. You liaise with them, find out how they can help and do something. All right. And, as I said in the interview that, when you apply for a job, research about that firm, know about that organization, know about that company, make yourself ready. And that's not easy. You need a hell lot of research about it and get ready for the job. Know the culture of Australia. Okay, I give you another example. When we landed from Bangladesh to overseas, this our second home, we had I attended a multicultural workshop. I attended so many workshops, believe me. One simple example. So said, do you back home, do you normally, if you go to the toilet, and always wash your hand, even if you are not doing anything, if you haven't done anything, poo or pee? I said, no, if I have done anything, then I don't wash my hand. She said, look, you are in a country where it is a common practice, whenever you're going to the toilet, you wash your hand, do it. Otherwise, another person will think that you don't have any sense of hygiene. So you really need to understand and know about the cultural norm of the new country. Learn it, find it, talk to the people, mix with people, and get used to a new culture. I'm not saying that you will forget our great Bangladeshi culture. You won't practice, you won't forget. You will still practice that. But as a new home, new country, you need to know the norm and culture of this your second home, and that will make you better person, better candidate, better man, better human. Okay.
Thanks, Zaman Bhai. My last question is a very short questions and short answer. We are just thinking about that how other candidates and the viewers will consider. I sometimes ask, or sometimes already asked by interviewers this type of question. I always answer my own way. The question is how can we differentiate you with other candidates, and what makes you different? I know that some of the answers are already in the presentation, that extracurricular activities, anything that you have done outside of the box, but sometimes they ask an example that what you have that other candidates that you don't have. If the concept question is asked to me, then I answer that, okay, I know this technical bits that is unique, or I did that research that is unique, that that is not done or before, something that I tell about from technical point. So my question is, what would be the best example that can differentiate me with other candidate? Dr. Zaman Bhai.
Good, excellent question. Let me tell you a question I was asked in my first job interview. There was in Auckland, New Zealand, when I first did my training and registration as a doctor in New Zealand. I was asked this question. I was interviewing in an extremely busy hospital that's called Auckland North Shore Hospital. Okay, it's a terribly busy hospital. There are few doctors interviewed, and I was offered the job. And I believe, and among other local QE, I mean the local graduates, and I certainly was not local graduate, but still I had the offer. Let me tell you what made me different from others. There was a very easy, simple question. The question was, it is a very busy hospital, and it is difficult to get lunchtime while you're working because of sick patients and all so on. What you do? Now, this is out of box question. There is no straightforward answer. Okay, everyone can answer differently. All right, your knowledge, your expertise, your skill will not help to answer this question. Only your common sense, your instinct will answer the question. You know what I answered? And I came to know that the other candidate didn't answer in this way. I answered, as a doctor, I understand if I fall in hypoglycemic state, that is low sugar in brain, I can make mistake. And that could be detrimental for my patient. I will find time to have my lunch. I will not skip my lunch. Somehow, probably I asked my colleague to give me even 5-10 minutes break to cover me. I'll find time, have my lunch, and quickly go back to work. It's just use my common sense, and that worked. So use your common sense if you have a difficult question which is out of box and you don't know. All right, this is one example. And other, I have already told you, I have already explained, you have to have some extra skill, like you know two languages. Certainly we know, we are Bangladeshi, we know Bangla, or probably know a bit of Hindi because of Bollywood movies and things. You may know other language, okay? Put those, that you are you have multilinguistic skill that will make you different from other candidate. Okay, you have this. I mean, not many people, not many Bangladeshi, I have seen CV that they are putting this, that they have multilinguistic skill. You have multilinguistic skill. You have multicultural capacity. You are from Bangladesh, so you are exposed to multicultural people. Put that in your CV. It is out of box. You have extra capacity which an Aussie candidate doesn't have. He probably doesn't know anyone outside of, he never exposed to any other culture apart from Australian culture. But you are Bangladeshi, you have Bangladeshi culture, you perhaps have a bit of Indian culture or Pakistani culture, and you have Australian culture. You are different. You are a better candidate. You can speak multiple language, you have multicultural skill, you are a better candidate. So put those in a way so that will make you different.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Jaman Bhai, for your time and nice presentation. Hope our community members and all over in Australia will be benefited from this presentation. And thanks a lot to BAB and BAB Social Integration Project team and team member who are working on this project. Thanks a lot to Munir Bhai for your time. And we will get back to you with uh, in future in new presentation and new topics and new presenters as well. And thanks a lot for being with us. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Zaman and Hassan, for this nice social integration project part. Tonight's discussion was really, really helpful. I hope our community members who are looking for job or preparing themselves for the workforce, they will find this important. From BAB, we will continue this sort of initiative in future, and this initiative is as part of Brisbane City Council and Bangladesh Association of Brisbane's initiative as social integration projects. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you.